we're here at National Convention in Milwaukee. We're really excited to be continuing our video series with you all. We are learning a lot, and we are blessed to be learning from some of the best. So Mr. Ludwig here has been very prominent in the Legion nationwide, and he is one of our Minnesota treasures here. So we're here with Dan Ludwig and Pam Krill, and we're going to just ask him for some insights about how to navigate National Convention properly. So when was the first National Convention you attended?
Chicago, 1982. So that makes this number 40. It had been 41 except for there. We didn't have one 2 years ago. So it's been a long time.
Yeah. What was your favorite convention you've ever been to?
You know, that's a difficult question.
Probably the one you were elected at.
The convention where I was elected and the convention, of course, where I served as the chair were highlights. I wouldn't say they were my favorite because those are pretty hectic conventions. I think one of my favorites, though, I would have to say was San Antonio, 1987. And that was the first time my wife Mary and our two children went along to the convention with me. The first five I went alone because our kids are quite small. So that was a neat trip. We drove and we did things on the way down. We did things on the way back. Plus it was we had a wonderful hotel on the Riverwalk. San Antonio's a nice place.
How old were the kids that year?
Oh gosh, they were about 8 and 9, maybe 7 and 8, something like that.
Do you think they remember their experience going with you?
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
By the time they graduated from high school, they'd been in more than 40 states because of going along to national conventions. We'd make a vacation with a week or two along with that. So they were good travelers and they enjoyed traveling. And that was a very positive part of being crazily involved in the Legion.
Fantastic. Do you have some advice for newer people like Pam and I for how to make the most of your national convention experience?
Well, first off, participate in all the things that you can. There's a lot more now than there used to be. All these wonderful classes that have taken place like all day yesterday and to some degree today, I think as well, that they didn't exist in my early years. The convention itself is quite an experience. It's considerably smaller now than in my time, in my early time. When I was national commander, we had 2.8 million members. We're now at like, what, 1.7 maybe, something like that. So the conventions are physically smaller now. The agendas are still quite similar. So just, take it all in. And don't be afraid to, when and where possible, not only at convention, but in our daily Legion life. Don't be afraid to lead. You got to understand that I represent the past. My road is long behind me, and I don't know how long it is in front of me anymore. That's not my call. But there's one thing I'm sure of. It's a heck of a lot longer on the backside than what's left on the front side. And there's so many things that are different now because the world keeps turning. And it keeps turning faster because of computerization. We don't forget anything anymore like we used to in the good old days. I mean, it's all captured now. So it gets more and more difficult for folks my age to try to stay in the here and now. We have a tendency, at least I feel myself, kind of getting further and further behind the leading edge. You folks represent the future. I represent the past. This organization will never complete the mission. The mission will always be before us in different ways at different times. And you're gonna have to carry that ball, as we did in our time, as the World War II Korean veterans did in their time, as the World War I veterans did when they started this organization. Your day is here. Mine was yesterday.
So, you know, with being here, and you say we're kind of the younger generation and kind of the future, what do you think the one thing we could do to start bringing some of those younger veterans here?
Well, that's a question I should be asking you. You know, it's, to me, I think what the biggest challenge is, I think young veterans are be willing to hang out with old people, as long as the old people treat them with respect, treat them as equals, listen to their stories, as opposed to what I think happens in a lot of posts where the old guard is comfortable with what they've built and they don't want a whole lot of new ideas. But those new ideas, that enthusiasm, that's the future. You know, so I think in a lot of places, young veterans aren't necessarily welcomed as they should be, but at the same token, there are posts where they are, and yet some of them aren't really overloaded with young folks either.
Right.
So it's an ongoing challenge. I wish there was a nice, simple answer that I could give to that question, but I can't. What I do know is we can never quit. Just striving to engage every possible veteran. Never have all the veterans joined the Legion. At the end of World War II, when the American Legion was at its largest, 1946, it had 3.4 million members. That's as big as the Legion's ever been. Well, that was when 16 million World War II veterans came home, but 1 million of that 3.4 million was World War I veterans. Now, a whole lot more of those World War II veterans joined, you know, years after. But it's, you know, I would just love it if we could get half the veterans that are eligible. In Minnesota, that would mean we'd be at about 150 million, which would be an all-time high by 1993 was the last all-time high Minnesota had, the 29th consecutive at 137,000 several hundred. And now we're at what, 62 or 3 million?
Yeah.
I mean 62 or 3,000. So, but that too, when you look at the 103 years, it's like a cycle.
Right.
Things go up and things go down. And so while I'm frustrated a bit that we continue to slide at this time, I'm completely confident that at some point in not too distant future, we're going to start going the other way again.
Yeah. Pam and I are pretty invested in this work, and we're ready to do the long haul. Like you have been blessed with a long career in the Legion, so do you have advice for us on how to be resilient and not burn ourselves out and like be ready for the long haul?
Well, one of the things you got to do is take what I call the long look. You know, we're a great big human organization. There will be days, you probably have had some already, where you have to deal with a personality that is strong and, for lack of better words, I'll say narrow-minded. And, you know, and they don't, shall we say, they don't do a whole lot to encourage you. You can't focus on one incident like that. When you take the long look, when you look at what this organization has done for the 103 years we've been around, it sustains you in those rough patches when you got to deal with things that are difficult. Because when you love the mission, when you believe in the mission, it becomes bigger than all of us, and it'll carry you past any of those temporary issues. It certainly has worked for me. I can, without going into any detail, I certainly had my days when I wonder why I didn't take up fishing.
Would have been much easier, right? Yeah.
Right.
But the best thing that ever happened to me, besides marrying that wonderful woman over there 53 years ago, was my involvement in American Legion. For one thing, the longer you're at it, in addition to working for what we believe in, you know, the message of the American Legion, it would be just absolutely wonderful if our message, our values, we could instill into every community in this country. It's more than our work for veterans and their families and children. What we believe in and what we profess and what we try to practice is what has made America a great country. And it could use a little boost right now too, I think. So that's why, you know, if we got to the point where the work was done, you know, then I would take up fishing.
Right.
We still have time.
Right.
Well, thanks again so much, Dan Ludwig, for sharing your insights with us. And you know, you've done a lot of different positions in the past, but before we wrap up, can we just have you list a few of your favorite posts that you've held within the organization?
Well, you know, each one of them brings challenges, each one of them brings opportunities. Being district commander was one of my favorite jobs because as a district commander, you visit posts on an almost daily basis. You go to post meetings and all your posts in the district. So there's where your opportunity is to really rub shoulders where the rubber hits the road with the Blue Cap Legionnaires down at the community level. Same time, you're the district commander, and that makes you a member of the department executive committee for 2 years. And at the same time, it also affords you an opportunity to come to national convention. So you get to see the national level, the department level, the district level, and the post level, all at the same time. Once you become department commander, that connection to the posts diminishes. National commander, it even diminishes a whole lot more. And of course, at the post level, that's what makes this organization what it is. So I think district commander really was my favorite job.
As a former national commander, so thanks again for all your time with
All right.
us.
Well, thank you. Thank you.